Today we're doing something new, something fresh. We've got a vehicle in the shop that we've never had in the shop before. We're doing long travel suspension, big tires and wheels, and I can't wait to show you because it is going to be the ultimate off-road machine. So the big surprise in the shop today is we've got a 2019 Maverick. This is by Can-Am and it is awesome. This thing is a 1000cc and has a turbo. So what we're doing is completely revamping the entire suspension. Not only are we gonna transform it from the traditional 64-inch wheelbase to the 72-inch wheelbase. This is gonna have big, long travel. It's gonna be replacing the upper and lower control arms, as well as the axle shaft. All of these components are from HCR Racing, and we've got them laid out back here. This is their Sportline kit and comes with a ton of stuff. We optioned for a few additional extras, and that is these components right here. All of that is to strengthen the front suspension. One of the reasons the owner decided for us to upgrade this thing is because he uses it off-road at high speed frequently, jumping it and racing it through the trails. As you can see, this lower control arm is bent so much so that I can hardly fit my hand between the lower control arm and the axle shaft. Because this thing is getting much wider, it means that the vehicle's being able to take the uneven terrain much easier. I'm excited to get all this stuff bolted together. It's gonna look so good. So there's a bulkhead gusset kit and a shock tower support kit. It's intended to enforce the coilovers, which are gonna stay where they get mounted at, and where the control arms get mounted at too. There's a reinforcement bracket there. This is the first one of these I've had in the shop, and it's gonna be a complete monster on the trail. We're upgrading from these small little 29-inch tires to a massive 32-inch tire. When talking to HCR, the suspension company that designed all that stuff, they said this thing will fit 35-inch tall tires with no problem. So we've got the first full day under our belt, and Eric has done a great job getting the whole front end completely blown apart and most of the way installed. The control arms look awesome. As you can see, we've got the upper and lower in place. Just as a quick recap, this is all stuff from HCR. We've got the Demon axle shafts in there. This converts the wheelbase from 64 inches wide to 72 inches wide. The control arms here, there is a massive, massive difference between these chintzy, thin little control arms and the control arm that's here. As you can see, there's such a difference. The owner completely trashed the other one. It was bent, rubbing the axle shaft like I mentioned previously. So this will be an awesome upgrade. The new control arms from HCR do not come with a new ball joint, so we punched these out and reinstalled them in that location. One thing I really, really like is the beef that we added to the front end. Of course, the control arms are great, but where they bolted to are even better. You can see this HCR gusset kit here. That transforms the control arm mounting from just a single shear bolt to a double shear location. And as you can see, it's all reinforced there. It's an absolute must if you're gonna be launching this thing and doing high-speed driving. Is there any other way to drive one of these? I don't believe so. The other part is up top here, and this is the shock reinforcement piece. There's a couple other pieces coming with that. Those are out at powder coat right now. They do not come pre-powder coated from HCR, so they are getting powder coated. But we've got two brackets, one that is gonna relocate the shock out further, and then there's a bracket that goes on top here. In the back, there was a bunch of rivets that we had to drill out for the brake line that get bolted into the new ones. We've got the Maverick all wrapped up and the thing looks absolutely killer. I was so excited to see it on the ground with the wheels and tires on it. The tires are an EFX Motor Ravage in a 32-inch tall tire, which is incredible. My very first Jeep actually had the same size tire on it. Now, you're talking to a diehard Jeep guy, and it's incredible now that we've built something like this when you compare it to a Wrangler, because it is completely different. This thing's gonna be able to go a lot more places than a traditional Wrangler could go, except on the street. Although some jurisdictions you can do that too. This is the KMC Grenade beadlock. I really like this wheel. When we got them in, they were actually custom powder coated black, and the owner I think is gonna maybe powder coat the ring at a later date. The advantage of a beadlock wheel is that we are able to air down to a much lower pressure. So if you're in sand, snow, or doing some really technical rock crawling, it allows this tire to really fatten out and grab the terrain that you're going over. But we had a lot of fun building this thing in our shop because it's not something we traditionally see. Most of what we're doing is Jeep Wranglers, Rubicons, and 4Runners. But this was a ton of fun because once you understand how the suspension geometry operates, seeing something like this is pretty cool. These control arms, coilovers, axle shafts, it's a real complete package if you're looking for a side-by-side with some suspension components that aren't gonna bend, aren't gonna break. This is the way to do it. Everything turned out really nice. The shock relocation brackets, front and rear, all the control arms, axle shafts. One thing that's kind of neat when looking at the control arms and the rear links is that they are designed for high clearance. Although that is awesome on the trail, it made it a little bit difficult on the alignment rack because we had to disassemble the rear suspension entirely to make sure that we've got it dialed in perfectly. All in all, I really love this thing. I can't wait to see some footage of this thing completely launching it, going airborne, because that is what it is built to do. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you think we should build projects more like this, let us know in the comment section below. Also, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. We've got a ton of cool short videos in all those locations as well. Thanks for watching. See you later.